A man who tolerates everything will eventually be left with nothing. So today, I'll show you 8 subtle behaviors no man should ever tolerate. Each point builds your core. Miss even one, and you stay exposed to the wrong women and invisible to the right ones. Let's begin. 1. Disrespect disguised as jokes. Disrespect never begins with screaming. It starts with a smirk, a jab, a harmless comment. Wow, you're shorter than I thought. Cute though. Most men laugh it off. They think being chill is strength, but what she's really doing is checking your boundaries. It's not about the joke. It's about whether you'll protect your name. Machiavelli once said, "Injuries must be inflicted at once, so their effect is minimized." Translation: nip it in the bud. The first joke at your expense isn't comedy, it's a probe. How to respond: stay calm. Look her in the eye. Say, "I don't joke about respect." Then change the subject. No anger, no explanation. You're not reacting. You're redefining the frame. A man who respects himself doesn't need to demand respect. He commands it, quietly. 2. Emotional manipulation through guilt. Guilt is control's softest weapon. She cancels plans. You call it out. Now you're the problem. Why are you so sensitive? It's not a big deal. Suddenly, you're defending your emotions, not addressing her behavior. Machiavelli warned, "A wise prince sees the noose before he feels the rope." If you're apologizing for your standards, you're already caught. How to respond. Don't explain your emotions. Own them. Say, "I don't feel bad for respecting my time." Then be silent. If she doubles down, she's not seeking a partner. She's seeing how much of yourself you'll give up to keep her comfortable. 3. Weaponizing silence for control. Silence can be a healing tool, but in the wrong hands, it becomes a leash. You express a need. She withdraws. No texts. Cold energy. Now you're walking on eggshells, chasing her affection just to return to neutral. That's not love. That's conditioning. Machiavelli said, "One must be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves." Her silence is the trap. Don't step in. What to do? Respond once. Because a man who allows everything soon becomes nothing. 5. Using emotional highs to mask red flags. This is one of the most powerful forms of manipulation. She floods you with affection, texts, compliments, intimacy. You feel special. But when you assert a boundary, the warmth disappears. Now she's cold, distant, passive-aggressive, until you fall back in line. Then the affection returns. That's not love, that's training. Machiavelli taught, benefits should be given little by little, injuries all at once. She gives the highs slowly, the punishment instantly. How to respond. Stop focusing on the moment. Watch the pattern. Does her love rise when you please her and vanish when you protect your values? Then it's not connection, it's control. Don't get addicted to her affection. Stay addicted to your clarity. 6. Gaslighting your intuition. This one is silent and deadly. You voice a concern, like her texting an ex. She doesn't address it. Instead, she flips it. Wow, didn't know you were so insecure. Now you're defending your sanity instead of discussing her actions. Gaslighting is psychological warfare, and it's won by making you question yourself. Machiavelli understood this illusion. The vulgar crowd is always taken by appearances. Don't argue over how you feel. You don't need permission to notice reality, how to respond. Stick to the facts, state the boundary, stand by it calmly, no yelling, no self-doubt. A man anchored in truth cannot be shaken by deception. 7. Shaming your masculinity. In today's world, masculinity itself is under siege. You lead with confidence. You're controlling. You state a clear standard. Now you're problematic. You set direction in a relationship. Suddenly, you're toxic. It's not about dialogue. It's about frame warfare. Machiavelli reminds us, a prince must learn how not to be good. Virtue, when weaponized against you, becomes control. What to do? Stop begging for moral permission. Your decisiveness, ambition, and strength aren't flaws, they're fuel. Live them without apology, because a man who honors his nature doesn't need to explain it. He simply becomes the standard. 8. Punishing you for having a life outside of her. The most dangerous type of stopped looking for tricks to attract her and started looking inward to protect yourself. Here's the final lesson, and it's the most important. Every boundary you fail to set becomes a lesson she teaches you in regret. Not in one moment, not with violence, but with subtle, invisible patterns that erode you over time. A comment you let slide, a need you suppress, a moment you abandon yourself to avoid conflict. Each time you choose peace over self-respect. You're not being noble. You're being trained. Machiavelli knew this long ago. He saw that power is rarely stolen. It's surrendered, not by force, but by forgetting who you are. The woman testing you, she's not your enemy. She's seeking clarity. She wants to know, do you flinch when challenged? Or do you stand firm with quiet strength? A king doesn't lose his crown because someone storms his castle. He loses it because he forgot to wear it. He forgets who he is, and that is what happens to men every day. The new path, becoming the untouchable man. From this moment forward, your path is simple. Draw your lines early. Defend them with calm clarity. Detach when needed, without apology, not to punish her, to protect you, because sovereignty isn't loud. It's not about fighting everyone. It's about choosing your peace over petty battles. When you know your worth, you stop needing to prove it. And that's when everything changes. Because in the end, a woman will always mirror the standard you enforce. If you tolerate disrespect, expect more of it. If you live with clarity, she'll either rise to meet you or remove herself. Either way, you win. This is the Machiavellian path. Not domination, but vision. Not noise, but presence. Not control, but clarity. Walk it, and you become untouchable.